Hello, I hope you're all well. Today's episode, it's a continuation from yesterday where, for want of a better word, I absolutely fucked a roll of Lomo 100. I loaded it into the back, I advanced it, and the film was advancing, but for some reason the frame counter wasn't. I don't know why. As a result, the camera didn't think there was a frame in, wouldn't take exposures, blah 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 blah. I had to open it up to see if the film was actually advancing. It was. Don't know what happened there, but I lost a roll of film. So today, we're out again, and I've already found a shot that I really like. Now, this isn't the shot I got earlier, but I've just framed it up for the sake of continuity on the video. This is the first shot I took, and I really like the contrast between the old kind of individual boats and the Mary Rose behind it. I think it just makes for quite an interesting shot. I'm not normally a big fan of the massive shot, the typical shot, but I quite like that little spin on it, so I've taken it. So one shot that I really wanted to get, if you see behind me, there's this lovely oldie towny pub. It's called the Ship Anson. It's quite well known around here. And behind it, you've got these brand, it's annoying because there's a tree in the way, but behind it, you've got these relatively new office blocks. And I just really like the contrast between the two. Now, annoyingly, at the present moment in time, this shot doesn't work because I want the sun to be a bit further around, cast a bit of light on the pub. You can see the office block's really well illuminated, the pub isn't. I kind of like the idea of that, with the idea of the office block being brand new and shiny and the pub being old and dingy. Not to say if the pub is old and dingy, I've never been in there. But so I kind of like that from a metaphor point of view, but at the same time I want it evenly lit as well. So I might get a shot of like the top and then the office block as well. Yeah, sod it, let's do that. Now, I framed up a composition and I'll be honest with you, I don't like it. And there's two reasons for that. One, I don't like the angle. I don't have a tilt shift lens, so I can't straighten it. I think if I could straighten it, I'd prefer it a bit more, but I don't, so I can't. The other thing I don't like is I don't like the difference between exposure. So I like the fact that the office block is lighter than the pub, but it's too much brighter, and it's either going to be the case where the office block's going to come out overexposed or the pub's going to come out hideously underexposed. If I aim for the middle, it's just going to look weird and horrible, so I'm not going to bother. I might revisit it when the sun comes back round again, but we'll head that way towards the sun, see what else we can find. So one of the things I really like about this area is there's a really good mix of old and new, and by old I mean like Victorian, by new I mean, I don't know, 60s. There are some newer buildings, a bit more that way, but I'm starting over here, working my way back that way, because as the sun swings around, it will start to illuminate everything a bit nicer. I don't want even illumination, because I want some things to pop, but I do want more even illumination than what's over there at the moment. So, I'm in this lovely court. I can't remember what it's called. It's something court. And I really like the contrast between the trees and the fact that the buildings are pigeons. I really like the contrast between the trees and the fact that the building's almost popping out of the composition. I like it enough to take the shot. I don't know if I like it, but I like it enough. And isn't that the important thing? You don't try, you don't know. So, now, some of you will notice that I'm using a tripod. Now, I'm not a fan of tripods. I only bought one to shoot videos with, and I found that actually I'm shooting with my iPhone than my Sony because the autofocus is better and the lens is wider. Yeah, that is what it is. But I'm using a tripod for this for a couple of reasons. Well, one reason really is because I really want precise framing, and obviously I can do that handheld, but it means that if I accidentally jog as I'm pressing the shutter or something like that, it is going to adjust my framing somewhat. Only by millimeters, but millimeters when you're far away can make a difference, quite a huge difference. So I've got the tripod with me today. It's a bit of a faff, but it is what it is. So anyone that knows me will know I love shooting into the sun. And that's exactly what I've got here. I've got this bridge and it's backlit by the sun. The bridge is going to be completely unexposed. There's no two ways about it. Or completely underexposed. There's no two ways about it. But I quite like the idea. It's kind of a shame I'm not shooting black and white, but there we go. I'll just wait for these cars to move out the way and I'm going to take the shot. So while I'm waiting for the sun to come round, because still Clad in Shadow, fun band name, Clad in Shadow, there you go, someone can have that. I've been getting to grips with my Polaris light meter. Now I bought this in Titchfield for a grand sum of £7, which if you look on eBay they're going for a bit more than that, so I was really happy when I found it. Now the first couple of times when I used it, it was throwing my exposure out of whack by like 3 stops, which is not an insignificant amount, even with film. And yes, film has really good latitude, and yes, you can overexpose film, of course. But when you get into like 3-stop territory, especially things like Hector, which is a super contrasty film anyway, it starts to really throw it off. So I posted in forums being like, hey guys, ever had this issue before where you're using it and it's throwing you out like 3 stops? And it was like, you must be using it wrong. So let me explain how this works. Is you take it, you stand roughly where your subject is, or you know, the light in which your subject would be bathed in. You set your shutter speed and your ISO, and you press that, and it gives you a reading. F11 at 1/500th of a second. You then dial in the camera, and you're good to go. Which is exactly what I was doing. And people were like, oh man, you must be using it wrong. Now, this is not a difficult device to use. You can obviously vary it, so if you point it more like, so the sun's over there, so if I were to point it at the sun, it would probably give me something like f16. Nope, still f11, but fair enough. But yeah, it turns out the problem I had was I'd used old batteries. So I've been using a battery that had been using something else. I think I'd taken it from the F801, used it in that, and because the battery had been partly used, the light meter was either overcompensated or it had thrown the meter circuitry out of whack. So pro tip, always use fresh batteries. Also, whilst I'm waiting, I would like to reference a misnomer I made earlier in the video. It's not the Mary Rose. Shit, what is it? Fuck. It's not the Mary Rose, it's the thing. Fuck, what's it called? Ah! It's the Victory. It's called the Victory. It's the HMS Victory. It was at the Battle of Trafalgar. It's right there. Not the Mary Rose. The Mary Rose sunk and is in a museum. That's the Victory. So, whilst I'm waiting for the sun to come round, I've moved my camera because I've seen another composition I like. I like how the sun's just starting to catch it. It's not full on sunlight, but it's enough just to start like accenting things, and that's what I'm after, and that's what I'm waiting for to get around to there. Once this bus moves, I'm gonna get that shot. So you can see what I'm after. I'm after the old with the less old inside it and the new next to it. Now if the bus could do the kind thing, this is my exposure reading, if you're interested. It's moving, it's moving! But that one's just started up his engine, so let's see if I can fire this off quick. Nothing in frame, nothing in frame, nothing in frame. There we go. Another shot. Now, those with eagle eyes might have spotted something, but I didn't, because there was a bus in the way. Ah! So, you know when you're trying to figure out if you like a shot, or you're just taking it for the sake of it? That's me at the moment. I don't know if I like it enough to take it. I quite like the lamppost and the Spinnaker Tower. They kind of match. Obviously they were designed to do so that kind of helps. I quite like that they're at different levels in the frame and kind of stacking, and it's kind of like it's an alternating between left and right, bottom top, bottom top, bottom top as it stacks up. I kind of like that. I know it's a bus station, but it'd be quite nice if the buses weren't there. But it is what it is. undecided as to whether to take it yet or not. The other thing I've got is the bus station will actually be copyrighted, as will the Spinnaker Tower. So these both fall under copyright law because they were built so recently. To be fair, I mean, I imagine a lot of buildings are, but some of it's putting me off a little bit. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. If that front bus moves, I might take it. At least it's killing some time, this indecision, while I'm waiting for the light to come around, because as you can see behind me, we're still in shadow. I took the shot, because why not? But final amendment. It's not the victory, it's the warrior. Victory's further in. I found out. I knew I was wrong. So, it's not the Merry Roast. The Merry Roast sunk is in a museum. It's not the victory, it's further up. It's the warrior. Yeah. Anyway, back to photography. So, I met these absolutely lovely chaps just down while I was waiting for the light to start hitting the Shep Hansen. Now, annoyingly, because of buses, and turns out the prime stop to get that photo is where a bus stop is. So I lined up the shot, a bus turned up and I swore profusely, and then I just got the shot afterwards. So my apologies, I haven't got some kind of lovely, ooh, sorry, that was meant to be at the Bronica and then I realised it was on selfie mode. So yeah, I've taken a couple of shots. I'm on shot 10 of 12, so I've got 3 shots left. Hoping I can just finish off the roll quite nicely. There was a nice little shot as well I got by the warrior. There was a lovely little boat in front of it, nice little contrast there between little boat, big boat. Boat friends. But yeah.